My name is Alvin Parra and I'm the President of Strategic Choices Financial. Thank you for watching this video on Medicare 101. I specifically designed this video for relatives and friends of Medicare recipients or for those who are about to become Medicare eligible and would like to learn more about Medicare. This is going to be a long video. It's going to be about 20 minutes long, but I can commit to you that by the time you finish watching this video, you're going to have a solid understanding of Medicare. You're going to be able to talk to your parents and your grandparents or your friends about Medicare and maybe help them make better decisions and maybe even discern whether or not they're in the best plan. So let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about us at Strategic Choices. We're located in South Pasadena, California. We have nearly 100 agents throughout Southern California, and we specialize in retirement planning, life insurance, health insurance, including Obamacare and Medicare. We also are very independent. We represent over 75 different financial services companies, so we can customize a plan. We're not captive to one company and pushing one carrier or one product. We are independent, so we can customize plans for our clients. So why would I love for you to learn about Medicare? Well, first and foremost, Medicare is an amazing program. I've come to really appreciate how wonderful it is and how lucky our seniors and Medicare eligible clients are. Amazing program. I think they should expand it even further. But why should you learn about it? But first and foremost, I can't imagine the fact that it's taken me months to learn Medicare. How seniors who have to choose a plan, what information they're getting, either from the mail, from the media, from advertising. Maybe they went to a lunch presentation or a dinner presentation and were pitched one company or one plan, or they got something in the mail and just said zero premium, zero copays, so they signed up for that first plan. That's probably not the right way to make a decision, and I think you as a friend or an advisor or a relative of someone who is currently on Medicare, you probably want to ask them a few questions that you're going to learn today in this video that might determine whether or not they're in the right plan or could look into getting a better plan. So this is for you to empower your loved ones so that they can make the best decision. And maybe they're in the correct plan right now, so if they are, great, then we confirm that. So the next thing we want to take a look at is people who are turning 65. So if you know someone that's turning 65, they're about to celebrate their 65th birthday and retire soon, forward this video to them. They'll be happy that you did. Most of us are going to be turning 65 one day, so we want to learn about Medicare for ourselves so we know what we need to do when we turn 65. And finally, some of you are advisors out there. Some of you are CPAs, tax preparers, attorneys, real estate agents, and your clients look to you as experts. They trust you, so they're going to ask you questions. They might even ask you about Medicare. What is Medicare? The last thing you want to say is, I don't know. With this video, you're now going to have some basic information, or you can just forward the video to them and you know that they're going to learn something and start making better decisions based on what they learned today. And finally, it's a hot topic in politics. Everybody's talking about Medicare, but very few people really understand it. As an agent, understanding how Medicare works, I can appreciate more, and I'm able to really determine whether or not that conversation and the politics is going on is real or not, and I can understand what's at stake if they make decisions regarding Medicare. I think it's incumbent upon you to also learn about Medicare so you understand what's going on in the political debate. Moving forward, so what is Medicare? Well, basically Medicare is a federal health insurance program. Simple as that. And every time, if you're working right now, fully employed, and you receive a paycheck, you have a little portion taken out for Medicare. So that goes into the Medicare insurance pool that helps everybody get Medicare services. It's closely monitored by the federal government, Medicare.gov, specifically the Center for Medicare Services, CMS, and they totally scrutinize this process to make sure that seniors are not taken advantage of and that they have the right information. Because again, what are we talking about? We're talking about their health and their welfare. So the federal government is closely monitoring that. Agents like myself, here at Strategic, we have nearly 25 certified agents, including myself, but we need to go through a very rigorous certification process to make sure that we know the do's and don'ts, because there's a lot of do's and don'ts. And unfortunately, I've seen some agents or clients that come my way, and based on what I've learned from them, that agent didn't really do the right thing. So we emphasize training, the federal government does, and is always requiring our agents to learn more. Who qualifies? You've heard of that magical age at 65. Well, what that means is even if you retire at the age of 62, you're really not eligible for Medicare until you're 65. So you need to plan for health insurance in those 3 years. But when you turn 65, you may be eligible, and I use the word maybe because you actually have to do 10 years of work service with some of that insurance taken out of your paycheck before you're eligible for Medicare. However, if you do less than 10 years, let's say you were a self-employed person, didn't pay into Medicare, or you're a stay-at-home spouse, and you paid less than 10 years, you may be eligible for Medicare by contacting your Social Security office and paying a premium difference. So again, the magical age is 65. Also, what you may have not known is that people who are medically disabled that have been on SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, for 2 years, 24 months consecutively. My brother, for instance, he has a major medical illness that's preventing him from work. He's under the age of 60, and after 24 months he received a letter in the mail from Social Security saying that he's now Medicare eligible. Well, like most seniors I can imagine, and like my brother, it was like a deer in headlights. I'm eligible, then what? So thank goodness I was available to help him understand what his options are, and he's going to be making decisions based on that. But there's so many seniors out there and individuals that don't have someone like me available to answer their questions, and they're just making the best decision based on the facts that they have at the time, and that might not be the best strategy to make those decisions. So the third way of qualifying is called end-stage renal disease. These are people who have kidney failure or on dialysis. They automatically qualify no matter what age. Now there's a fourth category that I don't mention that often, and it's not advertised a whole lot, but it's called Medi-Medis. These are people who are Medi-Cal. They're low income, so they're receiving some financial assistance from the state of California, so they're on Medi-Cal. Other states it's called Medicaid, and those people may be full or partial eligible with Medicare. So Medi-Medi clients are also a part of the mix as well, but just not as much. So let's move forward. So now that you determine you qualify, you're 65 or you're 24 months, what's next? First, you want to contact Social Security to get your Medicare card. You'll see a picture of it in a few minutes, but you want to get your Medicare card. Second thing is you want to understand what your options are. Now, even though you're Medicare eligible, there's actually two major options: Medicare Supplement, Original Medicare, Supplemental Insurance, and Medicare Advantage. You want to know these three different moving parts, so to speak. So if you're not aware of them, find out what they are, and the best way to find out what they are is by contacting the Medicare certified agent. Unfortunately, too many seniors try to do it on their own. My mom is 80, and she's been on Medicare for many years, but every enrollment period, which are the last 2 months of the year, she gets a stack of mail this high, tall, and I can't imagine how confusing this could be and how intimidating it could be. And all these advertisements, obviously they don't have the fine print and so forth. So doing it yourself is like trying to perform surgery on yourself. It just doesn't make sense. It's better to sit down with somebody, explain your situation, your needs, and that certified agent can customize a plan for you. And why is it a little bit complex? It's not, once you understand Medicare, it becomes a lot easier, but why it's a little complex is because, at least in LA County, there's 15 different Medicare companies. So all of them are fantastic, but everyone has a certain niche, if you will, and other specific benefits that the others don't have. But again, all of them are wonderful, but depending on your clients or your relatives or your grandparents' needs, one company might be better than the other. So again, now you determine you're eligible, you understand your options, and you're ready to sit down with an agent to move forward. Well, you want to get your Medicare card called Social Security. They'll mail it to you, but you want to make sure you have Part A and Part B. You want to ask for Part B. Well, I'll go over that in a few minutes. So once you have these two, you're ready to go and ready to sign up on a plan and sit down with an agent. Let's talk about the parts. Part A, B, C, and D. Part A refers to the hospital costs. So if something happens to you and you qualify for Medicare, Part A covers the hospital, and that's automatic based on the insurance that you're paying when you're working. Part B is the doctor's cost. So yeah, you might have the hospital, but you don't necessarily have the doctor's cost, the x-rays, the lab work, all of that. That's part of Part B. That is voluntary, because if you're still working at the age of 65, you don't need Part B. So that's why they call it voluntary. But the minute you stop working at the age of 65 or 67 or 70, you need to sign up and add Part B, called Social Security. Now that averages about $104 a month if you make less than $84,000. If you make more than $84,000, that premium, monthly premium might be higher. But on average, it's about $104. This is the cost for everybody on Medicare to pay. Whether they take it out of your Social Security paycheck, you have it automatically deducted from your bank, or your direct bill and paying it monthly, everybody will pay this. Okay? Part C, think of Part C as a combination plan of Part A, B, and in most cases D, and it's called Medicare Advantage. So it's not really a service, it's a combination of these. Part D is very popular. You'll probably hear a lot of advertising about it, but it refers to prescription drugs. Like Part B, Part D is voluntary, because you might have it at work when you're still working. But for those that get A and B, if you forget to get D, which is the case of a lot of seniors, they automatically, again, remember, they try to do it on their own, so they get A and B, they think they're good, but they forget to add on D. Now they're paying out of pocket for drugs instead of getting it at a discount or getting it covered. So, and by failing to sign up with Part D, there can be a possible penalty of about 1% per month that they didn't register when they were eligible. So it's good to know these parts, but then let's talk about how it works. So again, when you become qualified and you get that card from Social Security with A and B on it, and let's say you end up sitting with an agent like myself and you add Part D, which is prescription drugs, so you have A, B, and D, you think you're good to go. Well, technically you are, because now you're under original Medicare, which I like to call the default federal plan. And this includes Part A and B. Again, you can add Part D to avoid the penalty. This allows you to go to any doctor that accepts Medicare in the U.S. But you have an 80-20 copay, so that means Medicare will pay 80%, you're on the hook for 20%. So if you have a massive heart attack and it costs $50,000 to take care of you, Medicare will take care of $40,000 and you're on the hook for $10,000. That's a dangerous position, because that causes a lot of bankruptcies, unexpected financial disarray, and you can lose your savings. So if you're on original Medicare, it's okay, but you want to quickly get off of original Medicare. So if your parents or your grandparents, your friends are just on original Medicare, danger. Ask them if they're on Supplemental or Advantage, or they should consider either of those. But before we go on to that, let's talk about if you're still working at the age of 65. Again, I mentioned you're working at the age of 65, you don't need to apply for Part A and Part B. Again, A is automatic. You're not going to get a card because you're still working. And if your group health insurance has adequate coverage, it's comparable to Medicare's coverage, and the prescription drugs is comparable, then you don't need Part A and Part D. You're waived. But you need to check with your human resources or benefits manager to make sure that they are comparable and compatible. Otherwise, you will need to drop your group health insurance and sign up for Part B and Part D, as well as Part A, to get the full coverage with Medicare. Again, that's if you don't have coverage at work, or it's I would say just it's minimal or less than the Medicare coverage. Okay. So again, I talked about Supplemental and Advantage. So once you get original Medicare, how to avoid that 20% copay is either signing up for a supplemental plan or an Advantage plan. Here's where everybody gets confused. They see a lot of advertising for supplemental, and they see advertising for Advantage. I'm going to show you a quick little graphic that one of my agents, Robert Cotton, showed me that I think is very easy to understand. Once he explained it in this way, I got it. Okay, and I'm hoping you're going to get it in this video as well. So supplemental insurance, think of it as, remember the old days where we went to a fast food restaurant and we'd buy a burger, soda, and fries? We bought it separately. We paid for the burger, we customized the burger, bought the fries, and bought the soda. So that's buying everything individual. So Advantage is buying a combo. So now you just get one meal. So when they invented the combo meal, it was just one burger, one fries, and one soda. You chose the soda you wanted. But everything was pretty much fixed. You got a discount. Now you can supersize it, but back then when the combo first came out, it was just a one size fits all, except you can just change the soda. But bottom line, that seems very simple, but I'm going to go into detail, explain to you how this applies. Again, both Supplemental and Advantage, Medicare Advantage, are designed to protect the cost and control the cost. Again, that 20% that can cause seniors to go bankrupt or lose their savings, this will help absorb that 20%. So some of the key factors and key questions to ask that will determine whether or not your Supplemental or Advantage is good for your loved ones or your clients is, do they travel a lot? Or do they live in one part of the country 9 months of the year and another part 3 months of the year? So they need to see their primary care physician in both parts of the country. If they need that, then definitely Supplemental might be what they're looking for. If they stay in one part of the country, Advantage. Do they have a lot of medical issues? A lot of specialists. So if your grandparents or parents have lots of specialists they need to see, then, and they don't want to go to the primary care physician, they want to self-refer to the specialist, they might want to take a look at supplemental plans. That gives them flexibility and mobility. If they like the HMO field, they like their primary care physician, and they don't have the time to find the specialist, they rather their primary care refer it, then stick with the Advantage plan. And finally, fixed income. Some seniors, let's face it, are on fixed income. They're getting Social Security or maybe a small pension, and they don't have the luxury to pay a lot. Then Medicare Advantage, which is the most controlling of all the costs because you have a primary care and a network, might make sense for them as well. So in details, let's go to the supplemental insurance in a little bit more details. Again, buying the burger, soda, and fries. Again, it's designed to cover that 20% of the copay from original Medicare. It won't cover everything, but all the major costs it will cover. It's also known as Medigap. It fills in that gap of that 20%. Underwriting. If you turn 65 and it's your first time applying for Medicare, you sign up for supplemental insurance, there's no underwriting. If you sign up later, you want to switch to supplemental later, you may encounter underwriting from the new carrier company, medical insurance company. Again, one of the major benefits of supplemental, there's mobility, and it has like a PPO-like feel. You can travel to whatever specialist or primary care you want to, or any doctor in the U.S. that accepts Medicare. However, again, like buying a burger, soda, and fries separately, you're going to pay for supplemental separately, which is anywhere from $150 to $300 a month. Part B, everybody pays Part B, so that's $104 a month, and Part D can be from $50 to $100 a month. So you're going to be paying anywhere from $300 to $500 a month to have supplemental insurance. But for some people, that makes sense, and it may make sense for your parents or grandparents or friends. So they need to be clear on their issues, what their suitability is. So supplemental, again, may make sense for them. For others, bottom line is supplemental insurance comes in letter plans, and A all the way up to I think H. Plan F is more robust and the most popular of them all, but it's also the most costly. So you definitely want to have your agent or your carrier explain the different plans. Let's move on to Medicare Advantage. Again, this is like the combo. It's designed to even save more money, and in some cases, some premiums are $0, and in many cases, a lot of the carriers offer zero. But there's a trade-off to that, and for some people, that's okay. So one of the trade-offs is that you agree to stay in the network. So if you pick a primary care physician, that's your doctor for the remainder of the year, that plan year, enrollment year, and that doctor will refer out to specialists. If you're okay with that, you've been comfortable with that, and you prefer that you rely on a primary care to recommend specialists for you, then that's the way to go. So now, if you do go visit a relative in San Francisco and an emergency happens, you fall and hurt yourself, your Medicare plan will cover you outside of the network. But if you try to do a routine visit outside of the network, you may be responsible for those costs. So just know this so that you can coach your relatives and your friends to know what's what are some of the pros and cons to the Advantage plan. And also, let's move on to the next part. So again, I mentioned many of these Medicare Advantage plans have lots of low premiums, sometimes $0 premiums. You'll get advertising that says 00000. True, many of the MA plans offer that, so don't be shocked and think that, oh my God, this company is better than the other. No, you want to peel the onion a little deeper and find out why, and what other types of benefits that they have. So, great thing about Medicare Advantage, it has worldwide coverage. So that means if you travel to another country, you might, there's some limits that apply, but you're going to have coverage there as well. It's reimbursable and so forth, but find out the details. But that's great. You can travel to another country and know that, God forbid, if something happened, you got some coverage there. Other benefits can include transportation. So if you can't drive anymore, some of these plans offer transportation. Ask your agent. Some of them even offer a gym membership if that means something to your parents or your loved ones that want to go to the gym and work out and stay healthy and fit. Definitely want to look at some plans that offer gym memberships. Again, there's over 15 plans in the LA County area, so everyone is great, but each has their specialty and niche. So if you want to ask questions, and when it comes to Medicare Advantage, you have to select a primary care doctor. So if you have a doctor right now that you like, you want to talk to that doctor, call that office and say, which Medicare plans do you take? And some just offer one, some of them offer 5. If they offer 5, then sit down with your agent and figure out which of those 5 is the best one based on prescription drug prices, based on other perks, other benefits. So don't just pick the one that comes in the mail and has the best advertising. Do your research. That's the message of this video, is here's an opportunity to do your research to find out which plan best suits your needs. Enrollment periods, I'm going to go through this real quickly. Bottom line is when you first apply or qualify, whether it's 24 months of disability, you turn 65, and you're now retired, then that's your initial enrollment period. So that, take advantage of it. We talked a little bit about that. Call Social Security, get your card, talk to an agent. Open enrollment period. So let's say you're already in the system, you're already on Medicare, and you're not happy with your plan. Here are some of the common complaints or concerns, is that sometimes your favorite doctor retired, or your prescription drug prices went up in your plan. You're not happy with the service at that doctor's office, or it's too far. Lots of variables come into play here why people want to switch plans, but the CMS and Medicare allow seniors to switch plans. It's usually the last 2 months of the year. It's in mid-November to early December. For 2014, it's December 7th, Saturday, December 7th. So if you catch this video before that, definitely set up a meeting with any of our agents or any agent out there to consider switching for the year 2014. So those are open enrollment periods. Special enrollment. Let's say you move from county to county, from Orange County to LA County. You now have a special enrollment period throughout the year. Or you're working at the age of 68 and your job canceled health insurance for the entire company. So now you've got no health insurance coverage, but now you can call Social Security to get your Part A, Part B, and Part D, or speak to an agent about getting Medicare Advantage or Supplement and so forth like that. Disenrollment period. If you switch plans during the open enrollment period and come January you're not quite happy with it, you have from January 1st to February 14th to switch, to go back to your original plan, so you can disenroll. So you have that right as well. Obviously, you definitely want to learn about all the disenrollment periods. There's a couple of more out there, so talk to your agent about that. Or go to Medicare.gov and learn more. The phone number is 800-633-4227. They're happy to answer your questions. Rights of seniors, very important. Obviously, we've heard too many stories with seniors being taken advantage. CMS and Medicare.gov do a wonderful job, and this is what I appreciate. They do a wonderful job at trying to protect our seniors from being taken advantage of and picking the wrong plan. And I would also say that this makes a lot of sense, because what they do, they institute provisions and protocols to make sure agents don't do any sales pressure or don't make cold calls. So if you have any agent that's randomly just knocking on your parent's door, your grandparent's door, and trying to get them to switch, call Medicare.gov, CMS, and file a complaint. And that goes for our agents here at Strategic Choices. If they're doing something wrong that you think is improper, definitely file a complaint against me or any of our agents or any agent out there, because I take that serious, the federal government takes it serious, and so should you. Also, seniors must reach out to us. We cannot call the seniors who are willing to switch plans or sign up. But as a loved one, as a friend, as an advisor, you can encourage them to call an agent, and whether it's our office or some other office, you can help mediate and facilitate that meeting between an agent and your loved ones. Family members, with the permission of obviously the client, family members are encouraged to be present to ask questions and hear the presentation. And finally, we encourage our clients to ask a lot of questions. So that's very important. So open enrollment period for 2014 closes on this Saturday, December 7th. So if you catch this video before then, obviously, and something sparked an interest, or you talk to your loved ones and there's maybe interest in changing, give us a call. If you catch this video after December 7th, just keep in mind people who turn 65, forward this video to them, or be aware of the disenrollment periods or the special enrollment periods and open enrollment next season. Anyhow, my name is Alvin Parr. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been my pleasure to be of service to you and teach you a little bit about Medicare. Thank you for the time. I know it was a lengthy presentation, but I hope you walk away with feeling empowered and educated so you can also pass on this information to others. Have a wonderful day.